Dreading going to work tomorrow? At least you don't gotta fight dozens of aliens. Hey there, welcome to another edition of the Sunday Scaries. I'm your host, Mike, and today we're gonna talk about aliens. Now, I know I did an alien review, and we're gonna be reviewing all the films in this series as we count down towards Alien Romulus coming out this August. But this is by far my favorite film in the franchise. I know, spoilers on as far as which one I like best. I know most people are either an Alien or an Aliens person. I love Aliens. I did see this film before I ever saw Alien, which I think speaks a lot that I'm not the only one in that camp who saw this film first and was still able to love it. And it just shows you that director James Cameron, who directed the film, is just a master at directing sequels, because you do not need to see the first film to absolutely love this one. And it also doesn't necessarily really spoil the first film. It doesn't take away the scariness, knowing what kind of happens in the first movie, but it's just such a well done film. Now, this will be a spoiler review because I don't know how to talk about this film without spoiling it, but for those who have not seen Aliens, it takes place almost 60 years after the original. Ripley has been sleeping in space, frozen, and she finally gets woken up after being discovered by a random salvage team. And it turns out that no one believes her that she saw the alien in the first film. She's completely heartbroken. Her daughter has died, which I don't know if is actually said in the original film that she has a daughter, but she wakes up to find out her daughter's passed away, from old age, presumably, and that the world just went on without her. She gets a distress signal from the planet that she found the alien on, and there's a colony there now full of families, and it turns out they lose contact, and her and this team of Marines have to go down there and save the colony, or at least that's their goal. And that's the basic premise of this film. Now, before I get into the themes, and I have to say, I just love the characters in this film before I get into the different themes. Ripley is, again, just a badass. Sigourney Weaver does a great job playing her, but there's this whole team of Marines, and every single one of them just sticks out. Their banter is so much fun as you're getting to know their characters. The girl is making fun of the guy because he says, "Have you ever been mistaken for a girl?" And she goes, "No, have you?" And there's all this kind of fun banter. My favorite Marine has to be Hudson, played by Bill Paxton. He is just so funny throughout the film, telling Ripley they're a team of badasses and she's got nothing to worry about. And then when the movie gets crazy, he's freaking out, being like, "Game over, man, game over. We're all done for it," and just different lines like that. And then you have Hicks, who's like the calm and stoic guy, trying to help Ripley get through this horrible situation once they touch down on the planet. And then you even have another android introduced named Bishop. And of course, Ripley is very suspect of this android given her issues with Ash in the first film. But he is a terrific character as well. I just love the characters, and having just rewatched the movie after I've seen it dozens of times, the last 20 minutes, my heart just starts pounding because the surviving characters, I don't want to see them die. And no matter how many times I see the film, I just care so much about these characters, even though they're fictional and made up. And I think that speaks so much to James Cameron's storytelling, and that is something really special about this film. All right, so let's hop into some of the themes. So again, this film has the whole isolated in space theme. The Marines go to this planet and they find the colony and it's completely just trashed, but no signs of people. And there's no one there but the Marines, and it's, about a dozen people or so. And the fact that they don't know what they're getting themselves into, and they have no real backup as they're looking for the colony, and just seeing the complete destruction that the aliens left, or the xenomorphs as they're called, that is just so creepy and sets the tone. And this movie is not a traditional horror movie. It's actually more action, I would say, with horror in it. But you still get that horror atmosphere because the setting's just so eerie and there's no help for these people as things go on. You also, again, throughout the movie have this feeling of government betrayal, because Ripley goes there after the Weyland Corporation, who are the villains that Ripley worked for in the first film, act as a government because they have so much power and money and they can manipulate situations. And they also are the ones that didn't believe her when she was telling her story. This government official promises Ripley that they're going to destroy the aliens, and it turns out he's trying to preserve one. And when he finds out Ripley doesn't want to go along with the plan, he actually tries to get an alien impregnated in Ripley and a little girl that they find, which I'll get into in a minute. And it's just so despicable and slimy. And again, my favorite character, Hudson, when they find out and they catch him, you know, he's going, "Oh, this guy's wasted, man. You're toast," like saying they're gonna wax him. And again, you have the feeling of big corporation money acting as a government and controlling people. They promise Ripley to destroy the aliens before they come back, and the corporate agent betrays her and is trying to get alien back for the government's research. It's always lingering, and even with the android Bishop, you know, given the things in the first movie, you're not sure the entire film. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he gonna flip? Because, you know, androids are computers at the end of the day, even though they're AI, and they're programmed to follow orders. So you're not really sure what Bishop is gonna do the whole film, and you're always suspect of the government throughout the whole film. And then this film is also interesting because what the movie is really about, if you strip away all the aliens and the sci-fi adventure, what it's really about is a mother who went away on a mission, and she gets back from her mission and her child has died. And she feels this loss and failure of being a mother, this abandonment she gave to her child because she was gone away in space so long that her child died and lived this whole life without her. And then this mother finds an orphan in the film who's Newt, and she's trying to save this orphan that she finds. And it's almost like her mothering instinct re-kicks in. She goes into protect mode and she'll do anything in her power to protect this child. And some of it, I think, stems from the being a failure, or at least in her mind a failure, that she wasn't there for her child, and now doing anything she can to save this other child whose parents have tragically been killed by these creatures, and she's been alone on this planet by herself. And it's a really beautiful storyline for being in the middle of this horrible horror epic that's going on, the sci-fi horror epic. And it's a beautiful story. And I always have been able just to connect to Ripley trying to be a parent. To be honest, it's always made me think of my mother because I'm grateful that I've had such a good mother throughout my life, and she has been so protective of me anytime I've gone through something growing up. And even as a 35-year-old, she's still protective of me, and now she's really protective of my wife. It's like she got a second daughter out of the marriage, which is awesome. Anyways, it's just a beautiful thing to see in this film, and James Cameron does such a good job of developing that storyline. And going back to what I said earlier, I get so scared in the final 20, 25 minutes, whatever it is, when Rebecca is taken in the film by the aliens, and Ripley goes there, goes to the alien hive to try to save her. And it's just this epic final 20, 25 minutes. Honestly, even if you've never seen this film, you probably know the ending, at least the final fight scene, because it's been kind of referenced in so many different movies or spoofed in so many different movies. But I just can't help but be so invested in Ripley. At its core, I think parenting and being a failure as a parent, I mean, it's one of the, I think, greatest horrors that anyone can go through. And it's something I'm currently going through the first time because I'm going to be a father. My big announcement, I'm gonna be a father. And, you know, I'm already thinking in my head, I don't wanna be a failure for my child. And you see that in Ripley, just trying so hard and willing to do insane things to try to save this kid. That's not even her kid, but her parenting instinct has kicked in so much that she'll do anything to protect that child. I highly recommend watching this movie, if nothing else, just for that storyline. I think it's one of the best storylines and character development I've seen in any film. And this is one of the best movies ever made, along with Alien, which is also one of the best movies ever made. But let me know in the comments what movie you like best or what storyline you like best, and just your thoughts and opinions. I love to get a conversation going of, are you an Alien person or an Aliens person? Now, as far as the ranking goes, and you probably already have got this figured out, my overall ranking on the film in just terms of quality, it's a 5 out of 5. I mean, I don't think there's much plot hole or bad cutscenes or bad storytelling. I think James Cameron just does a phenomenal job. I also just love the sound effects in the film and the music. As far as the fun meter, this is a 5 out of 5. This is one of the few movies from start to finish, I don't think there's a dull moment in it. I'm constantly on the edge of my seat. I'm constantly engaged in the world that they're building around the characters. I love even all the government political drama in the very beginning of the film. But it's a very fast-paced, fun film, and there's not a lot of downtime in it. Thank you again for tuning in. Please subscribe and follow and like the video if you haven't already done so. Would love to grow our followers here at the Sunday Scaries. I've been having a lot of fun telling my opinions about different movies and different concepts. But all I know is I'm actually excited to go to work tomorrow, because when I think about it, I don't work in outer space. I don't have a bunch of aliens trying to eat me and create a colony and murder all my friends and family. And yeah, tomorrow's not going to be that stressful when I think about it that way.